Hey guys and girls, Poketon King here back with another video. Today we're going to talk about Flesh and Blood. So if you've been looking at the markets recently, we're pretty kind of slow burning right now. A lot of cards have retreated massively. I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago now about kind of what we'd be looking forward to happen during the summer. So generally summer's a low point for most card games. A lot of people putting a lot less money in. I know we have Dusk Till Dawn coming out very soon now. That comes out next month. We've just had the Lord of the Rings set come out and Pokemon 151, which is a massive set. So I feel like those two sets are kind of dominating the TCG landscape right now. And there are a lot of cards that could be picked up for really affordable prices. So I've noticed even the Fables now, especially the first three gems, they've retraced now, and I think all three of them are below £500 now in the UK and Europe, which is the lowest point they've been for, I think, since early February, late January. So before they had that slow rise up and that peak, they've come back down again. So I would recommend those being a couple of cards you could pick up at the moment. A lot of people are looking at legendaries still. There are still legendaries from the first three sets that are very affordable. One of the only cards really has kind of kept its price is the Fiendel Spring Tunic. I believe the Rainbow Foil now is about £300 in the UK, and the White Border and the Crucible of War one seem to be at pretty same price between them. So even though a lot of people don't like the White Borders, it doesn't seem to be having much effect on the Spring Tunic price specifically. So I would recommend having a look at the first three sets, having a look at kind of what's going to be happening with the next 12 months. We know that Reinhar's probably going to get some support, let's be honest here. We know that he's going to get support. So a couple of cards, Scabskin Levers is a card that I've had spoken to me a lot about, people saying that it seems to be underrated, underpriced. I would say any legendary from the first two sets specifically, if any of them can be picked up for less than the price of a booster box, I would recommend picking it up. Legendary pull rates for most sets really are generally one per case. And a case of WTR now is going to be about, what, £400? An ARC maybe 500, a little bit more, if you can find a case, especially in the UK. In the US, it might be a little bit easier. Product dried up a lot slower over there, but I still believe it's quite hard to find products now. So if you can get a legendary for less than the price of a box, I would recommend it. We know that every class is going to get more support going forward. We know this is the way that Flesh and Blood works. LSS have plans. You know, there are cards that are made, heroes that are made that are going to get some more support going forward. Obviously, Dusk Till Dawn is given a lot of support for Prism, and we know that Prism's going to be getting, you know, the new Prism as such. So already that's why a lot of cards spiked in Monarch as soon as that set was announced and as soon as the theme was set. So, you know, kind of look at the first three sets. I say this with other TCGs as well. When people are telling me, oh, but these cards are spiking, I wish that I picked up these cards, you know, these cards are hype. But, you know, people were picking these cards up when other cards were spiking, and people were telling them, oh, I wish I picked up this card. You know, I wish I picked up Scamskin Levers, for instance, when maybe, you know, Brayford Bracers was rising. But people always focus on what's going up and kind of not what's coming down. People find it very difficult to buy things when they're dropping. You know, I've said this before on the channel, and I'll probably continue saying this because it'll always be the same. But people don't like buying when things are dropping. They want to be buying when things are going up because they believe that, well, you know, if it's gone up £50, it's probably going to go up £100 or £150 or £200. And then people end up buying when it goes up. And eventually they're buying still at the peak. When they should be buying is when cards are starting to drop. You're never going to know what the floor price is. But if you're buying when things are dropping, most likely you're probably going to hit one of those floor prices at some point. So I would recommend having a look at the first couple of sets. There are a lot of content creators that are going through these videos, like every week they go through the market and they talk about specific cards to pick up. And some of these content creators have said the same card to be picked up for weeks and people still aren't doing it. So I would recommend doing that. I think Tales of Aria, I think a lot of that elemental stuff is going to probably be looked back at some point. We're going to get more elemental support in the future. You know, so I recommend checking these cards out. There are some stuff in Tales of I that is extremely cheap. And there's some cards that maybe not so cheap, but I think are overrated or underrated. I think the Channel Lake Frigid Alt Art is probably underrated still. I mean, the difficulty in pulling that card is extremely, it's extremely hard to pull that card. I know people that opened up 40, 50 cases and they only pulled a couple of them. So the pull rates for that card is extremely low. So I would recommend, if you haven't got one in your collection already, I'd pick one up, because again, it's going to be one of those cards where as soon as a couple of people start talking about it, content creators make a video on it, they start spiking, it goes up to, I think last time I checked it was £130. It'll go up to 180, then it'll go up to 200, and people will be buying when it's going up rather than buying now. I think what the problem with the summer is, a lot of people end up kind of putting TCGs on the back burner, and they spend a lot more money on, go on holiday, spending time with family, having vacations and such, which, it happens every summer. So it's a great opportunity to buy, because people are selling a lot less than market price because they need money quick. So if you go into every summer with the intention of, right, for the next 2 to 3 months, I'm just going to buy, and then maybe over the winter time, spend more time selling. That's something that I've done over the last couple of years that seems to work for me. I know it's not foolproof, and I know it doesn't work with every card game. I've had people debate this topic before. People have told me that the market never dips every summer and it's consistent through the year. That's just not true. It's not the way it happens. I've been in TCGs long enough to see that every summer, without fail, the same when lockdowns ended, people started fire selling because they wanted money to go out. People spend a lot more time with family, with friends. They go out more when you got the lighter months. People aren't as much inside collecting card games or playing card games, for instance, as well. So, there's a couple of things that you could be looking at. I might in the future do a specific video where I talk about specific cards, but as I've said before, there's enough people making videos like that, and they're just generally better than me at it. They've got I currently use a laptop to record, and I'm fiddling around with the settings at the moment. I've got a new mic, I've got some new lighting equipment, and I've got a new camera. So I'm trying to put a little bit more investment into the video content. So if you are watching videos and have you noticed better sound quality or better video quality, drop a comment below. I really appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder if people notice it or not. I notice it myself, and then I know there's a couple of people that have commented in the past and said it is looking a lot better. So I'll continue trying to improve the content that I make on here. I still want to do openings. I know I didn't do many openings for a while, and that was the core of my content when I first started making. And then the in front of the camera kind of stuff and the podcasts, was something that I never did before. So I'm going to be constantly trying to make new content. We've got London Card Show coming up in the summer. I'm going to be trying to do a hunt for Flesh and Blood at London Card Show, if I can find some. If not, I'll take some with me, and I'll open it up in the hotel or something. But yeah, there's a lot going on the channel right now. I'm still making a lot of content. I know I haven't made as much Flesh and Blood content. It's kind of a quiet time for Flesh and Blood right now. I know Dusk Till Dawn's coming out soon. But where I don't do content on playability, people playing in tournaments, when there's not things like call-ins, when there's things like call-ins going on, there's not always much content for me to make, because that's not my style of content. So I'll try to make sure that I'm putting more Flesh and Blood content out, but I will be doing a lot of the Lord of the Rings content going forward. I really enjoy it. It's going to be a set that I'm going to be trying to complete for a couple of years. I'm not buying 10 cases of collector boxes and trying to crack and pull the One Ring. I just want to complete a binder set, and it's going to be done over time. We'll be having some Dusk Till Dawn on the channel for sure. The set looks amazing. I know Flesh and Blood always smash it out of the park with every set, and there's not a set thus far that I haven't enjoyed opening. So yeah, please comment, like, subscribe as always. Check the Patreon out. I do a market analysis every week. I do a range of Flesh and Blood, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Grand Archive. We touch on Sorcery, Weiss Schwartz, One Piece as well. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Please comment, subscribe as always, and have a great day.